Greetings. Today we continue our study in the book of Revelation. We're in Revelation chapter 4, verse 5. We're considering the further evidences of rapture in detail. Today we're looking at the seven burning lamps, or the seven burning torches. Out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And there were seven lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the seven spirits of God. Now, we need to go to Matthew chapter 20, and we're going to be considering the material in the first 16 verses, and it will frame our review of the last message concerning the 24 elders. Matthew 20 and verse 1 says, "For the kingdom of heaven is likened to a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard." It tells us this householder made an agreement with the laborers concerning the compensation for their labor, and he sent them out into his vineyard in verse 2. This would be at the first hour of the day at 6 in the morning. It says this scenario is repeated at the third hour, or 9 a.m., the sixth hour, 12 p.m., the ninth hour, 3 p.m., and at the 11th hour, 5 p.m., those hours of the day. That's contained in verses 3 through 7. Then verse 8 says, "So when even 6 p.m. or sundown was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his stewards, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. When those who had labored since 6 a.m. saw that the 11th hour laborers received the promised day's wage, then they expected to receive more compensation than the penny which they had been promised. Therefore they began to complain about the goodman of the house," in verses 9 through 11. Their complaint of Matthew 20:12 reveals their thoughts against the goodman, saying, "These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and the heat of the day." Same work for a longer period of time. But he answered one of them and said, "Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? Take that is thine, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will, what I desire with my own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen." So I humbly submit for your consideration that this passage, Matthew 20:1 through 16, concerns the rewards which will be given at the Bema, or the judgment seat of Christ, and it relates to the positions which will be assigned beyond it. I'm going to make a conditional statement, but it's just to make us think more deeply. If in God's plan, He rewards Old Testament saints, New Testament saints, and tribulation saints equally, then He is not doing any of them an injustice. Why should God be thought to be unjust when it is our envious eye that is full of evil? God can give what belongs to Him to whomever He chooses, in whatever manner He pleases. We should remember that the reference to the 24 elders began in Revelation 4 after the rapture of all the saints. I guess we would note that would be, the exception would be the tribulation saints that will be added at the appropriate time. And these tribulation saints are included in the first resurrection according to Revelation chapter 20, verses 4 through 6. Therefore, we can safely say the designation of the 24 elders belongs to the tribulation and the millennial age. And then as we move into the eternal age, this particular designation disappears. However, there is a similarity which we should notice. And this similarity has to do with the names of the 12 apostles upon the 12 foundations of the New Jerusalem, and the names of the 12 tribes of Israel upon the 12 gates of the city. Now, I don't know about you, but I contend that we will be content with whatever position and responsibility we're given in the heavenly kingdom. Whether I'm assigned to be a doorkeeper, a street sweeper, a cast netter, a choir director, whatever, I'll be happy. I will be satisfied. Remember, the one handing out the rewards is called the righteous judge. Further, we should consider that there were 24 courses of priests who rotated in shifts to perform the service of the Old Testament tabernacle and temple. Therefore, let us proceed to consider the 7 burning torches, which are stated to be the 7 spirits of God. This is the consuming administration of God's Holy Spirit that is under consideration in Revelation 4:5. Hebrews 9:14 calls the Holy Spirit the eternal Spirit. Yet 4 times in the book of Revelation, we find this reference to the 7 spirits of God. Chapter 1, verse 4, chapter 3, verse 1, chapter 4, verse 5, and chapter 5, verse 6. Now, 1 Corinthians 12, 4 and 5 tells us that diversities of gifts does not mean manifold spirits. And differences of administrations do not mean different masters. Diversities of operations do not mean manifold gods. There's only one God, a triunity of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In 1 John chapter 5, verses 7 and 8, an inspired John tells us that the 3 persons of the Godhead agree, and they work together in heaven and in earth. The 7-fold administration of the Holy Spirit is outlined in the book of Isaiah, chapters 11, verses 1 and 2. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord.